Hello and welcome to a video type of which I never really posted on my channel. Essentially, cut long story short, I decided to renovate my garage, and renovation sounds maybe a bit extreme. Basically redo inside of it. It's only 3 years old, so it's pretty fresh, so the structure itself is fine. However, there are plenty of things that I don't like about this garage, and let me talk through some of those. So first of all, this wooden racking takes up a lot of space. There's not much working area. However, ignore that. Helps working. There's not. It takes up a lot of space, but there's not much storage room as such. As you can see, that's like near enough 10 centimeters. So it takes away from that height. I know there's height space in there, but it's not that easy to manage stuff in there. And also it's also in the view of everything. So if I want to take any pictures of the car or anything like that, it just doesn't make for great background, shall we say. Also visited one Lithuanian YouTuber's garage, and it gave me some inspiration. And also I think I've grown away from the black walls. I do want to freshen them up. I have actually decided to do like a feature wall there and there, so the entire back, it's not going to be like it is now. It's going to be something different, which you'll see throughout this video, because my plan is to essentially do one single episode that might take several months to film and then several more months to actually put together and then publish it to YouTube. But got to start somewhere, got to do something. But essentially, the very first step that I'm going to do is cover up this ceiling. So as you can see, this ceiling, it's plasterboard. It's badly cut plasterboard. I don't know what I was doing there. It's kind of molded there, but it's actually dry, so I don't know why it became like that. I think there was another spot somewhere, but let's forget it. The original plan was to get it plasterboard and then skimmed, but the skimming part never came because I was trying to cheap out. I was trying to do the filler thing, and then I really wanted to get the super inside, so I kind of abandoned the whole idea with the ceiling and started putting more crap in the garage. And yeah, so the very first step is I bought some OSB, 9mm OSB that's going to go onto the ceiling. And the first step is to actually paint it, and it's not going to be black, but it's going to be grey. And let me find and show you the paint that I've chosen. So this is the type of paint that I've chosen. It's steel grey in matte, so should be pretty cool. Should be pretty light, yet not like in your face. So that's going to be the colour for the ceiling. And I think what I'm going to do, because the weather's changing, it's raining 1 minute and then sunshine another, I think I'm going to bring in some sheets in here, paint them. I'm just going to paint the outside, or the bit that's going to be here visible, and let it dry overnight, and then try to put some sheets tomorrow. So I'll probably do a bit of a time lapse of me bringing stuff in and painting it, and I'll probably pull the Supra out of the garage, so it's a bit easier to bring plasterboard, OSB boards in and start painting them. So there we go. It's the first evening has been finished, and I have managed to get one of the boards up. The colour is a bit darker, I would say. Well, it's weird because I can't read. So it's quite dark when I applied it, and when I first started applying it, it was literally like black. And I'm like, whoa, this is way too dark. But then as it started to dry out, obviously it turned into this way lighter grey. However, on the ceiling it looks really, really dark. I don't know why, even standing from underneath it, it's a lot darker than that. It is what it is. I'm not going to cry about it. Obviously, I think once I get a row of lights in the middle, then it will be fine. It still looks way better than the unpainted, unfinished plasterboard. I have tried to get a board sort of there, but the light was just in the way and it's getting dark outside, so I didn't want to start taking the lights off today. I will continue tomorrow after work. I'll have four or so hours spare, so I will hopefully get the lights off and get a few of the panels on. Basically what I'm trying to do is get the full panels on first to avoid any cutting and stuff like that, and then I will start measuring and cutting other panels to fit in around the edges, and then once they've been cut, I'll paint them. Essentially, I've got five panels, so 4 more panels that have been painted, and that's going to do majority of the ceiling, and then obviously I will have to start cutting and all that sort of stuff. So progress will probably slow down a little bit. And also I've realised that in the first clip I didn't actually connect the microphone, so live and learn. But yeah, that's it for today, and I shall see you tomorrow. I'll probably not film putting the panels up or whatever. I will just do occasional update of how stuff looks. Well, I may have not filmed any of the progress of actually putting up the boards, but the ceiling is now pretty much done. I'm 1 sheet short over there and 1 sheet short over there. I've got 2 smaller pieces left there and a few offcuts here. I clearly didn't plan this very well, but hey ho, it is what it is. At the moment I've got no lights in here, and that's going to be my next step, so step number 2. So I got this box, and I've got a lot of mess. Essentially, some cable ties, a lot of lights, some connections. So basically, it is one of those hex lights, and I found the sheet. So it's one of these. There we go. With a border, blah blah blah. So now all I've got to do is figure out the location. I have measured up the width approximately of the garage. It's 4.8 meters, I think, something like that, or 4.6, and the light is 2.4. So I'll have plenty of space with the existing, or with the OSB board that I have in place. I should have enough room, essentially, to fit the lights, and then still have decent access for the last 2 OSB boards. I will have to get some new paint, some more paint as well, because I have run out. So yeah, good progress, and hopefully I can get the lights on today. I've got maybe 3 hours, and I need to clean up the garage as well, because it's absolute mess. There's sawdust everywhere, bits of timber everywhere, and I really hate this about myself, being a really messy worker. But let's get the lights. there we go. The first bit, the border, is all done. I don't know how it's going to be visible on the time lapse, but I had to basically take it down because I didn't read the instructions. So there are two different size buttons. So there's one like this, which is shorter than the others. So yeah, basically done the border. The only reason I realised that I was using the wrong bands is because the sizes didn't line up, and yeah, that was not great. It doesn't help that my garage is slightly wonky, so lining up the lights was also interesting. But let's see how bright they are. So remember, this is just the outer section. It does make a difference. I think this is already a lot brighter than I ever had in this garage. So I'm happy with this, and obviously there's going to be more lights. Yeah, that's very bright. Tell you what, for £100, this is really good for £100. Obviously the garage is a mess at the moment, but we shall sort that later on. Well, there we go, the lights are finished, look absolutely incredible. I absolutely love them. I have double switch, so that's the lights without the border, so lights off, just the border, plenty of light. It is a comfortable amount of light to be in here doing something. It's not too bright. Admittedly, with these lights it can get quite intense, especially if you haven't got any source of natural light. However, I'm really pleased with these lights. The ceiling is now fully finished. OSB board throughout, it just changed the look, the entire look of the garage so much, and I just love this space a lot more. So now the next thing though is to concentrate on this wall and that wall over there. So the plan for this is to have fully OSB board, leave it the natural colour, and have 2x1 wooden slats going vertically, and at the top here run a LED strip or something like that. So basically to backlight the wall essentially. So if I want to take a picture of the car, open the garage door, it's dark outside, switch on the LEDs, have the ceiling lights off, and there's going to be like a nice glow from the behind. I'll probably run some LEDs along the top of the garage as well, just something funky, something nice. So yeah, so the first step is to screw in some 4x4s, not 4x4s, 2x2 timber. I'm going to do a strip on the bottom, do the perimeter, and then measure out where the socket is, cut out a hole for that, and then fill in the gap, or start from here and then do the smaller piece on the left hand side. The seats, so I managed to pick up a couple of cheap bucket seats. I paid all of £15 for two of them. They're actually my size. They have some rips in here like this and like this, but they're absolutely perfect for what I need them for, which is to replace those two seats, which are rubbish and not been mounted properly. Also, the TV is going to be mounted in a different place. I think it's either going to be mounted over there, or potentially over there, or potentially on this wall, because spoiler alert, all of that's going to go as well. So let's crack on and get some of the 2x2s mounted. Well, there we go. The one side, the left hand side of the wall is now covered in OSB. Quite sturdy. Probably going to add some sound deadening as well, so it's a bit less hearable what I'm doing here outside, which can't be bad a thing. I could have gone a step further and covered the inside with some insulation. However, I decided not to do that. The whole garage is not insulated. there's gaps here and there, so it's not going to be that warm here ever. And my roof is insulated, so that helps a lot, but the walls aren't. So it is what it is, but if you wanted to soundproof the garage or just insulate it, that would be a good point to do that between the OSB and the frame. So one thing that I'm not that keen on is this gap here. That's a factory cut off the OSB, so this board I haven't cut widthwise anywhere, just the bottom, or well, the top. This board I've cut that side, and yeah, these two factory lines are so crooked, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And I'm double checking, yeah, it's a factory cut, and so is this one. I was just thinking if I mixed up the sides, but it doesn't look like it. But yeah, it is what it is. I have cut out the hole for the socket. I totally did forget to space it out, so I'm probably just going to get longer screws and yeah, fix it into place like that. It's going to be fine, going to be functional. So the next step is to cover it in lacquer. Well, cover the whole OSB in lacquer. I can show the lacquer that I've got. So I've got some of this stuff. It's meant for fences and garden stuff. Up to 5-year protection, so that's outside, so it should last a while. So it's clear, so hopefully just going to give it a bit of a film, a bit of protection, probably going to give it a few coats depending how it soaks it up. And then it's going to be slats, so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be really good. And one thing I've just realized, I haven't marked where my vertical beams are, which is not ideal. So I will have to figure that out one way or another, but that's a problem for another day. Well guys, I have forgot to film some of the clips, but this is the end result of the back wall now. I think it has transformed the garage already quite a bit. I do need to adjust those slats. Unfortunately, that gap is there, like there. So I think I'm going to put slat under the socket, well, definitely one above it, one under potentially, but I need to make sure that I can plug sockets, or can plug the plugs in basically, with a slat in there. And yeah, I just need some LEDs at the top and that'll be done. But already that's way better looking space, and from where we started, before the lights, before the back wall, I think that's a massive change. Now this size definitely let the garage down. So my next steps are to order a lot of 20 by 20 mil steel. Probably going to be really expensive, but I have a dream, I have a passion, I have a plan. I'm going to follow that plan. Sometimes life is not all about money, but sometimes it's just about chasing dreams. The plan is, in short, is to have units from that wall running all along to there, to this pillar, or just past this pillar. Unit sliding doors where I can. I'm not sure where I'm going to put the toolbox yet. It might go to the end, might not. We shall see with that. I'm not sure where that toolbox is going to go. Maybe just on top of the unit, or the unit that I build. But essentially the plan is to use 20 by 20 mil, build a massive worktop-like thing, some supporting legs, reinforce it, whatever, and then put some plywood on top and make basically like a workbench top out of plywood. I'm not going to have it that deep, probably like 50 centimeters, maybe more, maybe less, but essentially I want to keep the garage space, well, I want to keep the gap wide enough so I can open the doors either side of the car. This will get redone, most likely where the workbench is now, that's going to be where the TV is going to be. We're going to put a PC in there and some speakers. So that's going to be wider, fortunately, and I'll be able to use that space a bit more. And this storage space, it also needs to be readdressed because it's full of crap that is just useless. So yeah, a lot more to come. I do need to order some steel. That's going to be 2-3 days before it gets delivered.
and after that I will start filming again. I will probably do a sketch of what I want to achieve first, so that I have some sort of plan of what I'm working with, and probably change the plan as I go along. So, well, about a month later, and one trip to eye clinic because wear safety, wear eye protection, that's my advice. As you can see, the back wall is still the same. There is an additional sign there, but I actually have more storage now. Let me flip the camera. Yeah, I realized I forgot to film all of this. So I have a storage unit out of OSB. It's almost straight. I've got a new sort of work area thing with some storage up there. Obviously the grill will go from there. And then I've got storage all along the top. I've got another OSB unit here. I've got more shelves. Unfortunately, they're fixed height, so it's going to be interesting how I'm going to be using those. It would have been way better to make them adjustable, but it is what it is. I've got another OSB unit here that is already partially filled with some stuff. I've got cleaning stuff at the bottom and then like paints and stuff like that. And also I've rebuilt this unit, so I've got my welder at the bottom and more space for tools. I think the cutter for the metal will go into that corner. I might make some more shelves there. I might have my my mitre saw in there as well, and a few more additional shelves. So all in all, way more storage space than I did before. Obviously my toolbox is now at the end, which I think will probably be better because mostly the Supra will be driving in forwards, I think, maybe. I don't know. I just prefer to have the front of the car sort of at that end of the garage. But overall, I think it's a massive transformation. Well, a couple of weeks later, after the previous clip, maybe actually less, about a week ago, I managed to get sliding doors done. Let me show you how they operate. So there we have the doors. I've got essentially two metal pieces, square tubes, 30 by 30. I've cut a slot out. As you can see, this slot is wider than this one, and I would recommend cutting it too wide rather than too narrow. We have sliding doors. So the doors on the narrower track, they can get a little bit stuck, but as such, I'm happy with the result. So this side is pretty much done. I do need to cover this up and make some doors for this contraption, which I will do as the last bit. Currently, I'm working on this side and taking this storage apart. I've got my TV there, and I've got a little piece to fill in here, and then I'm going to put some wooden slats and a shelf unit or something like that here with my PC, so I can watch YouTube and whatnot on the TV, have a couple of speakers and whatnot. But overall, it's progressing well. I seem to have rearranged a lot of the stuff, organised stuff a lot better. I've bought a lot of plastic storage boxes as well, and it seems to have a lot more space than I did before, which is crazy. Somehow, I don't know how it works. To be fair, half of my bin is full, and I've taken a lot of stuff to tip. There was a lot of scrap metal as well, which I've just binned, and yeah, it's actually reorganising the garage has actually worked out really well because I have more space, it's way more organised, it's way cleaner. So the next clip is probably going to be, I'm going to redo that. So I've got a few more things to take out from there, which is mostly, well, there's nothing major here. And then I'm going to take fully apart this contraption, and it's probably going to be narrower. The plan is to make it to about here. The compressor is going to go on the bottom, and then I'm going to make some units for storage boxes essentially. So I can have storage boxes on this entire section and also have some doors and whatnot. And then we're going to be pretty much done, and I'll be able to move back to working on the Supra. So about 4 months after I filmed the previous clip, which I think was the doors, so I'm editing the video right now, and I've realised I've never filmed the outro or some of the end results that I've achieved. So I decided to combine this outro thing with a review of the things I've done and how I feel about them 4, 5, 6 months later, essentially. I'll start with the sliding doors. I'd give them a rating of 6 out of 10. Not very practical. I normally have them open at least one side, so I don't use them all that much, but it's nice to have the option to close up all the like tools, workbench, all that crap, and just not have it in the view, so it makes for a nicer background of the videos or pictures. Next up, the lights. 10 out of 10. £100, $120. Best investment ever into this garage. I would do it, and I would recommend it to anyone. Next up, this wall. I really wish to have more little ornaments like this. I've bought up different number plates there. Pretty much every single number plate is off of the car I owned, just because I get new plates with every car I own, but obviously not kept all the plates. But anyway, there's still a bit of a mess that needs to be cleaned up. But I do have another outbuilding that needs a transformation as well, essentially. But that's job for spring when it's warmer. So the last thing is this wall, I suppose. TV with my old PC, just a little speaker. That's the metal shelving unit that I've built. Don't really use it for much. It holds the PC, holds the keyboard, holds the beer, all I need it for. Then this little unit as well, I based it around these plastic storage units mainly, different little things. Still no compressor, which I'm probably going to buy myself for Christmas, and I think that's going to be the last major tool I need for this garage. So it's going to be a lot more, well, a lot better equipped. So yeah, overall the rating for the improvements probably 7 out of 10. There are a few more things I want to do, so the plan for next spring is probably to redo the flooring, and I'm probably going to go for tiles because they look just mega, and add a few more LEDs. But overall, looking back at the original videos, how the garage looked when I started the transformation thing, and how it looks now is just different world. So I hope this video made for an enjoyable view. Leave a comment down below what you think of the transformation, and if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, and I shall see you in the next one.